It's just work. We're trying not to take it too seriously.
But really, it is your career and you need to take ownership of it.
Hi. You look pretty. I love your weave. Really
You do?
nice.
Thank you. I'm in my cowboy Carter era.
Okay, she just have brought the hat then to complete the look.
I know, right? Thank you, thank you. I'm happy to see your locks are out to play
Yeah.
today.
Yes. They're growing, they're thriving.
Alrighty. We want to start off this episode by I was wondering why I was using my serious voice. But yeah, we want to start off this episode by thanking our viewers. We started this podcast just excuse me, just a few weeks ago.
What did you do that to?
Bukola,
Okay.
you are a baby boomer because yeah, Bukola interrupted my thanks. Yeah, we started the podcast a few weeks ago and the community is growing.
Yes.
You guys are sticking with us, watching our videos, interacting with our videos. We've even started getting some questions via email.
Yeah.
So just wanted to say thank you for your support, for being our early adopters, and supporting us, growing the community with us, listening to us. Sometimes we're just like gisting and yapping, and you are here, you're giving us feedback, you're asking questions. So thank you. We really hope that the podcast has been beneficial. We're of course going to keep growing. We're going to keep giving you good advice, trying to help you walk through your career and remove barriers for you. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate each and every one of you.
Thank you. I think without overflogging, but we just really want to say thank you and appreciate everyone. We see all the likes, we see the shares. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Keep sharing, keep liking, keep subscribing. Share with your friends, and share your feedback. And of course, continue to send in your questions as well. That's why we're really here. That's why we have this podcast and video. So thank you.
Thank you. Today we're going to be discussing surviving a toxic work culture. Surviving a toxic work environment. We're going to talk about some points that help you walk through. I mean, no one wants to be in a toxic culture. No one wants to be in that type of environment, but sometimes we find ourselves there. So this episode is going to talk about how to walk through that environment and maybe not make the best use of it, but just surviving, like we said, surviving that environment. So let's get into it.
So what do we have?
Let's see.
You want to go first?
Sure. Okay. I can go first. I'm just looking at my notes. The first point I have here is, and I say this all the time, anyone who has worked with me knows that this is like something I say often, which is document everything.
Ooh. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Receipts. Have your receipts.
You have to have your receipts. Whether you're in a toxic work culture or not, but even more important, to document everything when you are in an unsafe toxic work culture. Don't just have verbal discussions and verbal agreements. Put it in an email. As discussed, summarizing our discussion. What you said. This is not like, throwing blame or whatnot. It's just you need to protect yourself. You need to document any and everything, just so that when, like they say, when shit hits the fan, you have proof that maybe you had advised against something, or it wasn't your call, or whatever. So document everything, and just make sure that there's written evidence, proof of things going on. So that's the first point.
That's a really good one. I think another one I would mention would be using HR. So your HR team or the HR department strategically. You get the point. I'm sorry in the tongue twister mode now, but use HR strategically and just make sure that if your HR is trustworthy. Ideally, HR should be a safe space in quote within an organization. So if you need to escalate issues to them, your concerns, be professional, but just make sure that you're able to leverage the team and really air your concerns. However, there was something that I saw and something interesting, about the HR team in HR generally
Yeah.
in Nigeria. Oh, I think ChatGPT has, I'll say, a biased opinion, but anyway, in Nigeria and then in North America. And I read and I quote, or I quote and I read. According to ChatGPT, in Nigerian companies, HR may sometimes side with leadership, so approach with caution. I did not say it. I swear to God, I don't sweet it. This is according to ChatGPT. So I'm saying that for our viewers, audience, that we did according to ChatGPT. The advice is that while leveraging HR, approach with caution. I actually can't believe ChatGPT thinks about us like this.
ChatGPT, are you for real?
Oh my word! And then in North America, I think you said HR may act on legal risks. So well-documented complaints, just according to what Fadike had said around documenting everything, can be very impactful.
Yeah.
But I think that approach precaution for Nigeria was quite. It shot. I felt it here. Okay.
Because sometimes, and even anywhere at all, sometimes HR is even like the number one,
like an enabler, like
an enabler of the
enables,
culture,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I see why ChatGPT will say approach with caution. That's so funny.
So funny, I swear. So funny.
Okay, so the third point I have, again looking at my notes, would be find an internal support system. So when you are in a toxic environment, an organization that is toxic, it's important to find an internal support system. See, you're not the only one going through it.
Yeah.
There are like-minded people in the organization, like-minded people in terms of having the same values, seeing all the crap that happens and not being happy with it. There are people in the organization that feel that way. So finding that support system. There's a popular saying, a problem shared is a problem half solved.
Yeah.
Right? It might not be fully solved, but it's half solved. So sometimes you just need that internal support system. The reason why external doesn't really work is people external who are not in that environment,
they will not get it.
They will really get it. They will understand, they will empathize with you, but they don't really get it. They're like, oh man, that's a bummer. I feel your pain. I understand, but they don't really understand. Internally, the people internally who share the same values and same like-minded people really understand the depth of the nonsense and the depth of the pain and the depth of the toxicity. So find them, and this is not like a gossip group.
Yes.
It is just leaning on one another, sometimes getting advice from one another. They're also going through it. They've probably done some things right. So learning from one another will help. There's so many people who talk about finding friends in the workplace. A lot of times there's a saying, something about, I don't remember, but sticking through hard times together and how it really forms those deep bonds.
Yes, true.
So find your internal support system. They are there. They're so useful. I've been in situations where I was going through it in the workplace, and these were the people who helped me through it. So it does work. I can tell you that for a fact.
No, I think it took me back memory lane. I also remember where. And I'm very sure, like, some people, actually, there have been those tough times at work, right? And really finding those people, your internal support. It's something it could just be everyone in the team who is affected, in quotes, just then finding solace in one another, and you're able to just withstand. And I can say that truly, those periods have now birthed. I've left the organization, but it actually birthed friendships that have continued, to today. So I think that's a good one.
Yeah,
awesome. I think at the back of that would just be, so this is more maybe looking externally, so leveraging external networks, and I will link it to planning exit strategy. So in building or leveraging external networks would be staying active on platforms like LinkedIn, other job seeking groups, because sometimes the answer to surviving that workplace would just really be about you maybe leaving. You may want to consider, exiting that organization, but you don't want to just do it, just abruptly. You want to make sure you're planning for it. So is staying active on LinkedIn, connecting, building your network, and that's your external network by connecting with people on LinkedIn, their industry events. You can, attend those, and all those kind of platforms where you can meet people and just engage.
Yeah.
Keep your resume updated. As you engage in new projects, learn new skills, acquire this education, make sure your resume is updated so that at any point a recruiter reaches out or you find an opportunity, you don't have to do so much tweaks. You're just, able to submit your CV that way. And also in planning, as I said, I'm linking that to planning your exit strategy. So that's part of planning your exit strategy. But something else I want to mention is sometimes it could also just mean that you have to even live without finding a job yet. So another thing in planning that strategy could be that make sure you have like your emergency fund while you're surviving that workplace. Build your emergency fund so that if you can't take it anymore, like it's up to you, like it's here, you can't take it anymore, you're able to sustain yourself. I know different people have different, like maybe some say 3 months, 6 months, but if you can get up to 6 months of emergency fund so that nothing drops,
Yeah.
are still able to fund and fund your lifestyle. Of course, some things may change, but at least the basic needs, food, clothing, shelter is taken care of. Then you can, and then so you may want to just consider that and maybe just take a break from all of that and then really plan and look for your next job opportunity.
100% agree, and I think that that's a solid point, and it hits home. It hits home because my sister, shout out to them, she's done this before as well, where she just really decided that, and just scaling back a little bit. A lot of us finish school 21, 19, 20, 21, and then we start working, right? And you realize that you're just working back to back for 10, 12 years. And periodically taking vacation, one vacation there, 2 weeks there, blah, blah, blah. But really for the past 12 years, you've just been working.
True.
I don't think, especially in Africa, I don't think we really embrace career breaks.
Oh, no, it's not.
Like sometimes you just have to pause and say, I need to refresh. I need to take a break from the work environment, from, and just really find yourself again. The last time you spent time with yourself was your uni days. You didn't have much to do apart from study for an exam or whatever. And sometimes it's really helpful. So back to my sister, she did it as well, where she just said, nah, I really need to take some time out, career break. And like Bukola said, she didn't have another job waiting, but my sister is very prudent, right? She's very prudent. So her emergency fund, savings, investment, all of that stuff, she has it on a lockdown or whatever they say. And she just said, no, I'm going to take some time out, rediscover myself, rest, and then put myself back out there. And to be honest, when she was finally ready to put herself back out there, in a couple months, she got a job, fantastic job. She's, she enjoys what she does, and she's happy. So definitely, plan your exit strategy. It's unwise to just say, oh, I'm leaving. Make sure you do have your funds, your savings, right?
Yeah, very key.
Very
key.
The other point I will raise is practicing emotional detachment.
That can be tough. But
it can be tough. It can be tough. See, words are strong. Maya Angelou, who I really love, said something. She said, you'll forget what people said. You'll forget what people did. You'll never forget how they made you feel. And to be honest, how people make you feel is a combination of, a lot of times it's by what they say, basically. We know that practicing emotional detachment is tough. When words come at you, they come straight at your emotions. But that's the thing with self-mastery. You have to build yourself up. You have to practice emotional detachment. I'm passionate about it because I've been in this scenario very recently where I had to practice emotional detachment, not taking the toxicity personally, right? Understanding that this is not your fault.
Yeah.
This is the culture of this organization and it doesn't define you. So that emotional detachment, removing yourself from the rubbish, not taking it in, not being mindful about not taking it in and affecting your esteem, your person, your relationships is really, really important, right? Again, it takes some practicing. It took me years to get there. But yeah, like mentally, anytime you find yourself wanting to be drawn to the drama and toxicity and it affecting your emotions, just reminding yourself that I can't afford to take this personally. I'm going to pull myself out of the drama, just focus on the work to be done, and go, after a full work day, go back to things that make you feel happy, right? And just knowing that is only for a period of time. It's not going to be forever. At some point, you will leave that nonsense organization, right? So emotional detachment is really, really key. Don't take things personally. Try, no matter your personality, try not to take things, this not emotional crap, toxicity personally, right? You know that this is the culture. You know that there are other people who are going through it as well. So yeah, that's
That's a good. I want to say, I won't say I've mastered it. Like I'm still very far from it. So while I'm not experiencing any kind of toxicity at work, but there are times where, well, true, I'm not experiencing that, and I'm grateful to God for that.
Oh God! What's that thing we say?
God word. But there are times where work can get, the days are just a bit hard, and I wish that I could shut down and not think about it. And I'm just going to do this work more. In fact, I won't sleep. I'll keep thinking, like it will just keep going. I will dream about the situation. I would, oh my God, it's always something else for me. So really, it does take real, it takes time. But once you get there, I think it's a game changer.
Yeah. I was just gonna add. So how do you get there? Because I think I was a bit vague.
Yeah. Oh please. Yeah. I would love to hear that
too. Prayer. See, I'm a Christian. There is this Christian song, "What a Friend We Have in Jesus." What peace we often forfeit because we don't take it to God in prayer. So true. There is nothing too small to take to God in prayer. He's your father. He's your Abba. Like even the smallest inconvenience, take it to him and rant. Prayer does help. Prayer does help. Prayer helps me like so many times in a toxic environment. I'll just say, God, please. I did it this week actually. Not to say I'm in a toxic environment, but I did it this week where before I got into a meeting, I said a quick prayer. I said, God, please help me control my emotions. Help me regulate my emotions. Help me not be defensive. Let me handle this meeting with balance. Let me handle this meeting, in a serene way. And the Holy Spirit came through for me.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So prayer, the Holy Spirit delivered. So I'll say prayer,
That's
stress
great.
management classes. There are classes online you could take, free classes to just help manage your stress. Some people say yoga works. Yoga, meditation. Find what works for you. For me, it is another thing, working out as well.
Just the stress rather.
Yes. And then that's why the beauty of Instagram, there are all this comedy shows you can watch, and you just remove your mind from the nonsense. So these are the things that could help you detach from emotionally.
Oh no, that's really great, and I'm glad you actually talked about what has helped you. I think the prayer piece, I think that's something I should do more of. In terms of just really specific about, because like you said, God is our Father and everything He cares about every single thing. So I think that's something I'll do more. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
But I think what I was just going to share, which is very close to what you just shared right now, building a resilient mindset. Those kind of situations also make you more resilient. But I get that in how you deal with it, dealing with it can be tough. But trust me, you're building resilience. And I think just it's just building that mindset of the job doesn't define you. This workplace doesn't define you. I am not my job. Like there's a you that exists outside of that job. I think just reminding yourself of that, like, all of these things doesn't mean that I'm not smart, doesn't mean I'm not I don't bring my A game to bear, like doesn't mean that all of these things I'm not at my best, right? So building a resilient mindset, just reminding yourself of those things. And like Fadika said, she already touched on some points around distressing, but maybe something you can also adopt could be journaling as well, to just help you. I know that journaling can sound very, very not what's the word now? It's not I don't want to use the word. It's foreign to us. So it's foreign to most Africans, I would say, because we were, the way we are brought up and
Oh
we
my
grew up is more
gosh.
like we'll wing gifts. The Nigerian spirit is to hustle and everything will just, you'll be all right kind of thing. It is great. Well, it's great that we have, which is why they say Nigerians can thrive anywhere. They can survive anywhere.
Yeah.
If anywhere you find them, any planet they find themselves, they will be great. But I think sometimes we need to just also acknowledge the effects these kind of situations have on us. And some of these methods, yoga, distressing mechanism, mindfulness activities, and journaling as well. I found journaling to actually work for me as well in other areas of my life. And I think just a way to just help you put your thoughts down.
Yeah.
And having that has worked. And if you have the opportunity to maybe have someone to speak to, maybe it may not even be not just your colleagues. I know we are talking about internal support system, but maybe having a therapist or someone that can just speak to just help you just other coping mechanisms, so to speak. That could also really help.
Yes. 100%. I know people who have gone to therapy and it's helped them manage the toxicity in the workplace. So if it's something you can do, please go ahead and do that. Another point I was quickly going to mention is like giving practical steps on how to manage difficult bosses and colleagues.
That's a good one. Please, let's have it.
So just very quickly, I'll go through my notes. I think one of our episodes we had talked about micromanaging.
Yes.
When we talked about, I think we talked about red flags.
Employment red flags. Yes.
Micromanaging. So again, this episode is talking about surviving, a toxic workplace. So if you find yourself in an environment where micromanagement is the order of the day, for micromanagers, how you can work with them without losing your mind is provide regular updates to reduce their need for control. Right? So it's annoying when they're always on you, like buzzing bees. So give them information. Overload them with information before they ask you. Right? So provide regular updates to reduce their need for control. And sometimes it does help them. So when they realize that, this person is always like updating and feeding me back, they might take a step back, right? If you find yourself working with passive aggressive colleagues, maintain professionalism and do not engage. Those people that want to throw you under the bus, giving backhanded comments, putting you on the spot, things like that. Don't engage with them. Shut it down. My leader, Chimamanda, said something recently. She said, ignoring someone is the greatest form of resistance. Right? So just ignore them. Ignore the comments. When they try to put you on the spot, moving on. You even say like, okay, moving on. Like, let them know that they're less important and they're not going to ruffle your feathers. So yes, I would say maintain professionalism and do not engage. The third thing here is for overly competitive workers, people who feel like everything is a competition. Focus on collaboration and not rivalry. Let them know, sometimes to disarm those people, just let them know that we're one team. I'm not Deloitte versus EY. Like, we're both in the same organization, right? So even though we know there are limited spaces at the top or whatever, just move to them with a spirit of collaboration, asking for their opinion on things, asking them to chime in. It disarms them, and they see you less as a rivalry or competition. They see you less as a rivalry. Okay.
Last but not least would be know your employment rights, know your rights, know your employee rights. And in different countries, there are various laws that, like the North America, there's the OHSA, EOC, and those kind of laws that speak, that help you to where you can know your right, and what where you can maybe speak up or pursue certain issues legally, and of course we don't want things to get to that side, to that phase where we're now taking legal action, so to speak. But we hope that will be the last resort in those kind of situations. But if push comes to shove, but know your rights. Really, every employee really know your rights. Know what you is what's the word now? Like know what within the laws, like what is that protection that you have. Yeah. And then if it push comes to shove, then you can't exercise those rights for sure, because there are rights.
Yes.
So I think that's one key thing I'll add.
I don't have anything to add. I think that's absolutely what you should do. Human rights as well. Know what your basic human rights are. Forced labor is illegal, right? If someone is forcing you to do work, overloading you with work, they're actually going against the basic human rights and things like that. But in conclusion, what I would say is it's unfortunate that we find ourselves in these environments from time to time. It's really unfortunate, but we really hope these tips help. And just keep praying that God gives you opportunities that don't opportunities to work in environments that aren't perfect, because it doesn't exist, but organizations that aren't toxic, right? But if you are in these environments, I really hope these tips help.
I hope so too. So if you liked this video, please share, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications for our future videos. Sorry, I don't know what videos. Thank you so much, guys, for sticking with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.